Hey guys, what's up? It's Sunday today. It's 18th of August 2019. I'm gonna talk about uh, healthy love. I'm gonna talk about healthy love today. But first, I'm gonna like do. But first, I'm going to read some prophecies for you, okay? Read some prophecies for you, okay? Not read some prophecies for you, but read whatever I read when whatever I see when I open the Bible at random. This is the Bible. This is my Bible. Opening the Bible at random and um, looking from there. You're not seeing from there. You're reading from there. Um, Matthew's chapter 18, verse 25. And this is probably against me. And I think that's it. Hindrances. Matthew chapter 19, verse 14. Acts chapter 16, verse 6. First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 39. Galatians chapter 5, verse 7. First Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 18. Okay? You know, I think that I'm being punished. I'm being punished for, you know, what I did. Or this is the way it's always been, okay? Someone is just dictating whatever I'm gonna read, you know? But I hoped it was God. I hoped for a while it was God. I did. Black page. So let's talk about you know, God's existence is proven by science, is proven by creationist science, and it's also proven by just a demonstration of his power. And you know, these evil things that are in the world are proven by also demonstrations, okay? So and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Let's talk about healthy love in. Let's not talk about healthy love. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Um, let's talk about healthy faith and um, healthy patience. Healthy faith. Like, what is healthy faith? So when you wanna understand something, when you wanna have knowledge, have when you wanna have the truth, when you wanna have like something that makes sense, something that opens your mind, something that is going to show you the way it is. Okay, when you do that, basically what you do is you basically what you do is you try not Okay, you try to avoid lies, you try to avoid imagination, you try to avoid um, you try to avoid misunderstandings. You try to avoid just the wrong things. Okay, so what you do basically is this. Okay, is this you start you start to prove and disprove. Okay, prove and disprove. Okay, and basically you gather information, you make theories, you prove and disprove, and you come to conclusions. Okay, there's basically three things. Okay, one of them is apologetics. Okay, one of them is defending your faith. Okay, that is basically proving. Okay, and then the second one is being critical thinking. Okay, and then the third one is faith. And or the second one can also be discernment. When I talk about when I talk about the second one, I talk about critical thinking. You can also call it discernment. Okay, you can also call it discernment. Okay, the third one is faith. Okay, faith. And then you also have to do this thing about gathering information. Okay, gathering information. So there's basically these three. Okay, what I'm talking about in the Bible basically is Mark chapter 7. Okay, in that chapter you're gonna see something about foolishness. Okay, that's something that comes out of your heart, which is basically part of that is foolishness, and that's what is evil. Okay, what is evil? Okay, what shouldn't be coming out of your heart. Okay, coming out of your heart. Then in Romans chapter 2, I think it's either in chapter 1 or chapter 2, it's talking about how you're supposed to teach yourself. Not just teach others, but teach yourself. And then this discernment thing is something I think is in the letter somewhere. It's in the letter somewhere. Faith is found in Hebrews 11. It's also found in Matthew's. The whole book of Matthew's is basically a lot about faith. And then in Hebrews 11, you're going to see something about faith. Okay, in 2 Corinthians or in 1 Corinthians, it says in 1 Corinthians, you're going to see this thing about love. But then you see something else, which is faith, hope, and love. Okay, faith, hope, and love. Okay, so faith is not hope and love. Okay, it's faith. Okay, it's faith. Now, basically, you know this thing about idols in the Old Testament. Do you notice the first commandment, which is saying like God is supposed to be prayed to. God is supposed to be worshipped. God is supposed to be worshipped rather than other gods. And so this is something which proves that there is false gods. There is something called imaginatory gods. And this is also something you want to read about in Isaiah or Jeremiah or Ezekiel, how they make these gods out of like wood or iron or gold or something like that. And it's just fake. Okay, it's fake, and it's an imagination, it's fantasy, it's not real. Okay, it's not real. Okay, it's not real. And this is basically about truth and lies. Okay, truth is what you're supposed to focus on some of the time at least, and lies and imagination and fantasy, you should not get full of it. Okay, misunderstandings You should not get full of it, okay? You should not believe it, okay? You should not have your faith in it, okay? You should not worship it, okay? You should not fall down and worship it, okay? And basically, then Jesus says this thing about how he's the truth, way, and the life. But or the way, truth, and the life. He's the way, truth, and the life. Jesus is the way, truth, and the life. But he, in John, in the first part of John, you're gonna read about how this. You're gonna read about how. You're gonna read about how the word came into the world, and it became like it was like truth and mercy to reveal truth and mercy to us. And then there's this saying about how Jesus is going to be lifted up just like the snake in the desert in Moses' times, so that people can worship, so that people can look at him and like worship him and stuff. Truth. Jesus is the truth, way, and the life, or the way, truth, and the life. But here's the thing, okay? Jesus is. When we say that Jesus is the way, truth, and the life, we don't mean that we're supposed to lust after Jesus, that we're supposed to just look at his body and like lust after him, and be like sexually aroused by looking at Jesus' body. What we basically mean is that when we look at Jesus, we're not like close to Jesus. Maybe we're not like all the way up to Jesus. We're not like we might not be. I'm not talking about how we're not Christians. I'm not talking about being not Christians. I'm not talking about not being Christians. I'm talking about how we might be on earth and he's in heaven, okay? And basically, when we look at Jesus, or like he's on earth and we don't know where he is, like we don't know, we can't see him, okay? When we look at Jesus, we focus on Jesus, okay? And when we but we can't just look at Jesus. We have to be practical. We have to think so we can act right. And basically, what we have to do is we have to focus on Jesus, but we also have to see other things, okay? How do we do that, okay? We focus on these things and we see how it proves Jesus, how it is demonstrating Jesus, how it is showing Jesus, how this proves Jesus, okay? Thankfulness is something we can demonstrate Jesus with, okay? Worship is something we can demonstrate Jesus with, okay? Something we can focus on Jesus with, okay? And fear is also something we can focus on Jesus with, okay? This is something we find in the third book and in the fifth book in the Bible, okay? The third book and the fifth book in the Bible, okay? So basically, I'm feeling really strange right now. I'm feeling extremely strange right now. And I feel like people are just trying to sabotage this whole thing. Basically, we can focus on Jesus, okay? But that doesn't mean that we can't see other things, that we can't focus on other things as well, okay? Because we're seeing Jesus through the lens of all these other things, okay? So we're seeing that first, but we're seeing Jesus second, okay? Because Jesus is the thing that we're focusing on through these things, okay? I can't talk so much more about this more. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He came to us, he died for us by compassion, by mercy. He loves you, and you can read about him in the Gospels, okay? Bye.